Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat petang. Okay. Apa khabar semua? Apa khabar? Can you hear
Baik,
me?
Doktor.
Okay,
Baik,
Alhamdulillah.
doktor.
So how's your Sunday? Okay ke?
Okay, doktor.
Hujan ke?
Okey, Doktor.
Hujan ke tak?
Tak hujan.
Panas-panas, Doktor.
Sangat panas. Kat mana
Panas.
tu Hanif yang panas?
Jengka, Felda jengka.
Oh, okay. Oh, you memang orang jengka. Jengka berapa?
Jengka 2.
Jengka 2. Okay, saya pernah mengajar dekat UITM Jengka long time ago. Masa UITM baru dibuka, saya lah orang pertama pioneer dekat situ.
Tak silap saya mungkin tahun 19 something macam tu kan.
1990, 92, 93, something like that.
Okey.
Itu masa saya mula mengajar, menjadi pensyarah. Long time ago. Right, okay, so hari ni, I know ada lagi 4 kumpulan sebenarnya yang tidak lagi present untuk mereka punya problem statement. Okay, anyway, I would like to bagi dulu lecture untuk chapter 4. Chapter 4 ni sangat membantu actually untuk you define, you refine lagi you punya problem statement. Bagi mereka yang telah pun present pada hari Khamis lepas, okay, so you can start doing the orang cakap pembaikan to improve your problem statement. But those yang haven't presented yet, so you can use whatever we are going to learn today to improve your problem statement. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so at the end of this lecture hari ni, I hope that you will understand how to identify the problem area in business research. And also you're able to define the problem statement clearly for business research. And then you know how to formulate the research aim that answers the problem statement. Okay, and you also manage to derive the research questions and research objectives from your research aim. Okay, kat sini I would like to change a bit. Alright, sekejap. Okay, not research your problem statement. Ini problem and research aim. Okay. Right. Okay, because the most important, if you don't have any research, your research problem statement is not really clear. So it's very hard for you to, derive, or you can either induce or deduce your research objective. And then also it's very important, you need to define the scope of the research. So what can be a problem area? Actually, we already discussed this one in our previous meeting, okay? So, in order to get some idea, how can you get a problem for your FYP, for your research, for your study, So, it can be, you can get it from the existing issues an organization needs to address, okay? So, for example, you know that this company XYZ, they are having problem in something. They have some issues that they need to improve or they need to solve. So that one can be a topic or can be a problem to your study. And areas a person wants to improve, for example, okay? So you already know that there are some theory, okay? That some theory, this theory A has been applied a lot in, the Western country, but never been applied in Malaysia, for example. So therefore, you think that this theory A can be used in order to improve certain organization in Malaysia, for example, GLC or any organization. Therefore, you think if you apply this theory A, that kind of area, something like, for example, leadership. And in my case, my area is leadership. So I know that this theory can be applied in order to improve the organization leadership style, for example. So that one also can be a problem. or theoretical or conceptual issues that need more study to understand certain phenomena. Okay, again, this one, if you have like, theory, conceptual issues where you can apply it somewhere, all right, in order for you to understand, for you to see whether that theory is applicable or not to some organizations in Malaysia, for example. So we are focusing more what should I say, business research in Malaysia. Yeah? Unless for those in Indonesia, you also can apply this one, your study, you can do it for Indonesia. No problem, right? And then the research questions, a basic researcher wants to answer empirically, right? So before this, you only, you read a lot from your literature, from a report, from, you Google from the website, and then, but you think that you want to see with your own eyes, you want to experience it, okay? So there are something that you need to answer, okay? So therefore, that one you think that it is better if it is done empirically. Empirically is something that you can see, something that you can experience, okay? Right. So identifying a broad problem area. Before this, I already say you have a very big, broad area, and then or idea, but then you need to break down into a few dimensions. There are a few elements under the big idea. So identify a broad problem area where you need to recognize of existing problems. Okay, in our case, for our um, class assignment regarding the foreign workers housing, okay, so we recognize that one is actually the problem that the people in Kulai people in Kulai are facing now. So we think that it is very important, okay, very important for us to improve, or at least to find out what actually the causes of the problem, okay. So that one, okay, the desire to improve the status quo. Okay, so that's what we mean. That's what research is all about. And then we also need to plan for the future. Okay, if we never know, from maybe you think that you are doing just a very simple, small thing, okay, but actually it can contribute to the whole nation. You never know, right? Okay, the preliminary information gathering. Okay, before we can embark, okay, our actual project, our big project, okay. So it's better for us to do, a study before we can do the big things, okay. So people always say before you can do a big business, maybe you can start from a small business, selling nasi lemak, dekat tepi jalan, right. And then after that, after jual nasi lemak, you are successful, then you can start renting a building, a restaurant. And after you renting, for a few years, and then you can buy your own restaurant, for example. So the same thing, for a research. You need to start from a small, very basic things before you can go further, right? So at the stage of soliciting, okay, information regarding the problem of interest to enable us to gain a wider understanding and perspective of the problem, okay? So it is very important for us to get some information first, whether this is a good topic, how can I do it, who should I interview, who should be my respondent, and so on, okay? Addresses the basic question of whether the problem is worth investigating and exactly how the problem is to be framed and clearly described. So you need to ask whether this is doable. Is it? Can I do it? If not, so if not, I you need to find some other topic or area, right? Unstructured interview. This one is actually very, very good. If you can get some people who actually related to your topic. Okay. So remember, we can use this Delphi method, and then we can also, get some expert, some people who actually has a relation with this organization. For example, the HR people, the employees, and then anyone who actually know about the issue of that organization, right? So it says talking informally to several people in the work setting or to clients, to other relevant sources. Okay. So what you need to do is actually to get additional insights of possible factors that could be operating in the particular situation. Okay, we just a researcher, we only look from we look with our own eyes. Okay, but when we talk, we have a very good conversation with these people. They actually can suggest us what we cannot see with our eyes, right? Because they are experiencing the situation, so they know better. Okay, so the next step is to make sense of the factors that have been identified. Okay, so that's the reason I say before you can start anything, identify what are the factors first. That one is very important. Okay, so at least you know, okay, these factors is okay, very important, these factors is okay, these factors, oh never mind, we can ignore in our study and so on, right? So you need to identify what are the factors can contribute to your topic, right? And then the next one, you need to define the problem. Defining the problem statement is actually you are narrowing it down. Okay. So from the very broad, okay, and then you narrow it down. So you can use the reasoning approach, whether you can use deductive or you can use inductive. It's up to you. Okay. And then you need to do a good literature in order to lead you to a good problem statement. You know why? Because if we read more, if we know more about what other people have done, so at least we know, oh okay, yang ni I need to do like this. Okay, oh this one is not good, it's not suitable for Malaysia culture. Okay, and then you at least you learn more, right? So it creates a sense of ownership for the researcher, because you are the one who actually working for it, so you know that one is your own work. Okay, and then focuses the researcher on an accepted problem, because some maybe the previous studies they have found, okay, they have done this research, but it's actually they lack of this and that. Okay, so it's they have like some of the weaknesses, and then the threats that they face before. So okay, I shouldn't do that. Okay, I need to do this way. Okay, in order to get a better results and so on. And then describe the symptoms in measurable terms. This is very important. That's the reason you need to take statistics class. Okay, because when we say measurement, okay, so it must have quantitative data or qualitative data. So quantitative, what kind of quantitative can be measured? Qualitative data, what can be measured, for example, right? So that one you need to know what the variables are, okay, and what can be measured in your study. Okay, for example, personality. Personality is very subjective, very subjective. You know what? Because it's very broad. Okay, maybe you thought, okay, oh, this person is so quiet. Okay, from your own observation, you say, oh, this person is so quiet, not very friendly. Okay, but somehow, if we do, like a very proper way of measuring someone's personality, then you can know what type of personality that person has. Okay, so that's the reason you need to know how to measure your variable. And then determine the research direction. The solution to a problem depends very much on how the problem is being viewed and framed. So, mesti ada hala tuju. Okay, you must have your own direction. Even in life, okay, even in life, we also must have our own hala tuju, our aim, our mission, and our vision, right? So, that's one is very important. And then when a problem has been successfully identified, a researcher must ensure that the problem is defined and stated specifically enough that he or she can write about it. Okay? So after you already know your topic, you already know your title, you already, you have a very clear about your problem statement, and then now you also need to make sure that you can write very well on what you have done. Okay. All right. Next one. Significance of the problem statement. Why is it so important? Okay. So a clear statement of the question or issue that is to be investigated with the goal of finding an answer. Okay. Because whatever we are doing at the end of the day, what we need to do is actually to answer the research objectives and also to find solution, um to find at least some improvement, okay, suggestion on what you are studying. All right. So that one is very important. And then there are three elements, okay, for the significance of the problem statement. First, the problem statement itself should be clearly stated. You kalau tengok kan our slides, our discussion, it always emphasize that anything that you do must be clearly stated, okay? And then sufficient context to detail to justify is important. Okay, for example, there are many issues. I know there are many social issues, okay, outside there. But the problem is we need to know which one is actually the most important, which one is actually that we need to do, okay? Because that one, okay, the importance one maybe actually can affect the economy, the Malaysia economy, Malaysia punya, social life and so on. Okay, so that one is we need. Okay, that's why the problem statement need to tell the people, the readers, the examiners, how important actually this problem is very important, and that's the reason you chose it. Okay, you choose it for your study. Okay, so the method of solving the problem often stated as a claim or working thesis. All right. So sometimes, okay, this hypothesis is actually what we expect, what we think is going to happen, right? So that's the reason we test the hypothesis. So in our chapter 4, in our chapter 5, we can tell people, oh, our expectation, our claim is actually correct, can be accepted, or it cannot be accepted. It should be rejected. Okay, the purpose, statement of objective and scope of the document the researcher is preparing. Okay, so you must know, okay, the purpose, or in this case, we also sometimes call it the purpose of the study, aim of the study, okay, and then the statement of your objective, scope of document, you need to prepare it, okay. And then the next one, okay, guidelines in creating a good problem statement. So whatever you write in your problem statement in that paragraph, it must be relevant. Relevant to who? It must be relevant to both managerial and also academic perspective. So what does it mean? So whatever study that you are doing must be related to an organization and also UTM and US academic scholar, all right? So you need to have that thing, that element in your problem statement. The second one, feasible. Feasible in terms of the capability of the researcher to complete it, right? So you must be capable of doing it. You only have 2 semesters to finish your FYP. So the first semester, you need to finish chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And then for the second semester, you need to finish chapter 4 and chapter 5. So that's the reason I keep saying this to students, don't be too ambitious. Okay, so please just make sure, okay, you know, okay, this whatever you are doing can be completed within that 2 semesters. If not, try to, reduce it. Try to, like, maybe you shouldn't do this, you should do that. Okay, in order for you to complete it. Okay, sometimes bila kita fikir when we think about this, okay, sebenarnya what we are trying to do is actually we want to apply FYP ni. The purpose is actually we want to see whether you understand the process, and you also uh, you have learned something from your classes. So you can actually, you need to apply what you have learned in your FYP. We don't expect you to create something very bombastic, very big. No, no. So we just want to see, oh, this student is able to go through, okay, to undergo this kind of process. So it means that if you graduate, your boss asks you an assignment, okay, to complete an assignment, you will be able because you already experienced doing this process, okay, how to solve a problem. And then also, your topic must be interesting. That one is very important. Okay, I actually, to be honest, sometimes I'm tired reading students' FYP. You know why? Because there's nothing new. There's no innovation at all. They just follow whatever the seniors did, right? So even the mistakes, the error, they also copy 100%. So, you must remember that your supervisors, your examiners, your lecturers, they are not stupid, right? So, even, okay, myself, okay, this is what happened to one of the students. So, this student, he claimed that YFP is actually his own work, original work, you know. But when I read that FYP, I think I have read it somewhere. Okay, so it just happened. Maybe what he actually he submitted, and what actually it just happened that I was the one who maybe it's just coincidence that I read that kind of thesis before, okay? Maybe Allah pun nak tunjuk, okay? So, and then, so when I read his thesis, and then I feel that, I have read it somewhere, I've seen it somewhere, and then, but he, mati-mati, he said, no, this is my own work. So what I did, I called my master's and PhD students, because they have a very good at finding literature review and previous studies. So I asked them to go through some FYP in UTM in our faculty and find similar topic, and also maybe they can identify which page or whatever this this person's writing might be similar or same. Okay, it's just like copy and paste. So my PhD student, they did it well. They found it. Even they wrote to me. They wrote a report. Okay, this page is similar to this page. This paragraph is similar to that paragraph. Okay, so that's why. What I'm trying to encourage you people, please, when you write your FYP, write it with your heart. Eh? Okay, it comes from your heart, your own interest, your passion. That one is very important. So it will be different from other people's work. Okay, so don't just take things for granted. Just copy and paste. Okay, and then just change a few words. If that person, they did in let's say Celcom, you just change it to DG, for example. Okay, so that's not actually honest, not being honest. So what should I say? Whatever you do, please make sure it comes from you. Okay? Right. Okay, ada apa-apa ke nak tanya anyone? Do you have any question before I proceed? Christopher, are you here? Chris? Christopher? Why suddenly you so quiet? Okay, no answer. Hazel.
Hi, doctor.
Hi, Hazel. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good and healthy.
Happy. Mata terbuka ke?
Ada buka.
Okay. Alright, okay. So I hope tak tidur. Alright. Okay, and then how about Aina? Aina, are you here? Yes, Yuman. I think Yuman dekat Pahang ke Yuman? Are you in Pahang?
Ya, faham.
So you are lucky lah. You tak kena PKPB.
Tapi kawasan saya adalah Selangor dan KL pun bahaya juga.
You kat which area? Karak?
Bentong, near
Oh.
Karang, near.
Oh, so still affected lah.
I try to protect.
Oh, okay. Because I thought Pahang is free. Okay. All right. So let's continue. Right. So this is what you need to do. All right. When you what is the process? Okay. So first of all, you must have your research problem. Okay. So after you get your research problem, you can scope it down. Okay. So research aim. So research aim is you can write it in 1 or 2 sentences. What is actually the purpose, right? Some people, they don't write the research aim separately. They put this research aim at the very last paragraph of problem statement. Okay, so it can be done in 2 ways. Okay, either you write your problem statement and then you write your research aim, or you can write the whole problem statement in a few paragraphs, and the very last paragraph and usually very last sentence, they write their research aim. Okay, so after you write your research aim, then you can write your research questions. Okay, and then after research questions, you need to write your research objectives and then your research scope, right? So all this must be in your chapter 1, right? So research aim, the single indispensable outcome of the research that directly addresses the needs of the research problem. So actually what you want to do, okay? So you already got a topic, you already got a problem, but now what is your mission? What is actually your aim? What you want to do, right? And then research questions using appropriate literature to understand important gaps in the research aim. Okay, so it must be in the form of question sentence. And at the end of your sentence must have a question mark. Okay, so that's the reason you need to start with how, where, what, when, and so on. All the questions words. All right. And then after that research questions, you need to convert them into research objective. Okay, the difference here, we don't have a research objective, we don't have any question mark, but instead it is a verb sentence. So your objective to do what? Your objective to investigate, to calculate, to classify, to identify. Okay, so that what we call it as verb sentence, right? After that, you need to tell the reader your research scope. What is actually you do? What your variables are? Who your respondent? Where is your location of your research, your work? So that one is the scope. We call it scope. Okay, scope, just what you do within your study. All right. And then implication sets out the blueprint for the direction of the research. A good problem will have a good aim, and a good aim will lead to a good research question and research objective. Okay, they all are related. Okay, helps build a solid theoretical framework. Okay, this one we're going to learn in the next chapter. You know, on this theoretical framework, then you will know how to do this theoretical framework in the future, okay, which will in turn help set testable hypotheses, all right? And then determines the type of data and its format needed to answer each research question, better clarity, control, and implementation of data collection for the data analysis. Right data analysis, it will give you right answer. You choose wrong tools for data analysis, it means your answers are not valid. Okay, people, while when I'm giving you this lecture, so please make sure your book in front of you. If you have a book, okay, so please highlight all the important statements and important points. So at least you understand. Okay, this one is important. Right? Need to give more attention. Okay, this is how you write your research in, right? So you already finished your research problem, okay, from our previous assignment. Now it's time for you to do the next assignment. So research aim, so for example, okay, to investigate what actually you want to do, the overall, okay, the overall purpose, to investigate the needs of members of commercial fitness centers in Klang Valley, to create for what? To create appropriate service bundles to meet their needs, right? So now it's like the aim of the research is actually to investigate the needs of the members of these fitness centers, right? So that's the purpose. And then, how can you write a research question and objective? Okay, for example, number one, for the research question, as I said, it's supposed to start with all the questions, question words like how, where, and so on. So, for example, this one, how does needs theory, okay, needs theory ni nama satu theory, okay, explain the relationship between meeting the needs of commercial fitness centers customers in Klang Valley and their overall satisfaction. Okay, so dia nak tengok what they try to do is actually to study the relationship between this meeting the needs and also satisfaction. All right, so the variables meeting the needs, okay, and also the second variable is satisfaction. Understand? Right. So from this research question, we need to convert it to a research objective. So how can we manipulate the same sentence, but in a different way, right? So as I told you, it must start with to do what? Okay. So in this case, to investigate the commercial fitness center's customer needs in Klang Valley in relation to their blah blah blah. Right. So actually they are the same, almost the same sentence. But one we write it in the question sentence and the other one in a verb sentence. Okay, faham tak?
Faham,
Faham,
doktor.
doktor.
Ya je korang ni faham doktor, entah faham ke
betul.
tidak. Hai.
Faham, doktor.
Okay, let me see siapa dia cakap. Doktor, research question is actually the question untuk the apa ni? Untuk the paper and bukan question untuk respond. Yes, very good. Okay, thank you for asking. Okay, yes. Actually, yang research question ni is for us as the researcher yang kita kena tulis in our thesis. But the question for the respondent, that one is different. Itu question for questioner. Okay? So this one is for us. When we want to write chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, and 5. So this one will be in our chapter 1. Okay? Ada faham ke? Okay. Hopefully faham. Right? Alright. So let's look at the next one. Okay. The second research question of this study, dia tanya, does the engagement of commercial fitness center customers in the Klang Valley mediate the relationship between meeting their needs and their overall satisfaction? I'm sure you don't really understand apa ni dia tanya, okay? So don't worry, the word mediate you will learn in the one of the chapters for data analysis nanti. Okay, so this one, this sentence we want to convert to objective. So again, to investigate, to study, you can do it to study, to check, okay, the mediating effect of commercial fitness center customer engage between meeting their blah, 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 right? Okay, let's look at that one. Oh, okay, itu saja. Any question selepas ni kita nak bincang benda lain? Okay, so I would like to share with you people. Sekejap ya. Alright. Set. Okay, so let me see. Stop sharing this one first. Okay. Okay, boleh nampak tak? Apa yang saya telah buka ni? Apa yang you all nampak?
Windows.
Alright, tapi kenapa tiba-tiba dia hilang daripada saya punya ni? Oh yeah, this is funny. You nampak Windows tapi saya tak nampak. Believe it or not. Saya yang tak nampak. Kau orang nampak Nanti balik semula. Do it again. Let's do it again. Tak ada pula. Oh, I see. I understand now. Okay. Alright. So now we have, okay. Mana tadi ni share? And then we have this. Alright. Okay, now you all nampak kan?
Nampak, Doktor.
You all nampak. Saya tahu you all nampak tapi you all nampak apa?
Nora full description this researcher apa benda tu.
Okay. Jadi confirm lah memang you all nampak. Alright, marilah kita melihat. Okay. So kat sini, this is actually the content of your chapter 1. Alright. So what do you need to have in your chapter 1? So chapter 1 is called introduction. Okay. You don't have to write introduction to the research. No need. Okay. Introduction is good enough. And then you start with the background of study. Background of study ni is actually introduction to your study secara overall, in general. Okay. After that, you need to write your problem statement. Okay. As I said, some people, what they did, okay, dia akan buat, okay, so for example, this one, okay, Right? Okay. So for example, so this problem statement, some people they put it here. 1.3 aims of the research. Okay. But some people, as I said, they don't do it separately. They just put this problem statement at the end of the problem statement. They will state the aims of the research of the study. Okay, so kalau lah, if you want to do it separately like this, so this one will be 1.4, this one will be 1.5, and so on. Okay, understand? Faham kah?
Faham, Doktor.
All right, very good. Okay, so let's continue. So what do you need to have? Satu, background of the study, problem statement, research question, and then after research question, your research objective, and then you need to write your scope of study. And the rest will be significant of the study and so on. This one we will learn later. Right, so this one, it means that, okay, right, so it till here, right, you punya assignment untuk chapter 1, right? So you need to do what you need to do. Okay, satu, the first thing you need to write your background, background of the study, no need. So I want you to start with your problem statement. You already have your problem statement. It's just that you need to refine your problem statement, and then you need to do your research objective, 1 or 2 research objective. And then you need to write your research question, and then your research objective, the last one, scope of the study. People, please listen. If you have 2 research questions, so it means that you also need to have 2 research objective. Okay. I don't like some people, they have 2 research questions and then they only have 1 research objective. I don't like this. Okay, so it should be parallel. So if you have this one 2, this one also 2. If you have this one 1, this one also 1. Faham kah?
Faham, Doktor.
Doktor, yang scope
Ya.
of the study tu kena buat dalam berapa pelanggan?
Yang mana? Intan? Intan ke?
Ya, saya. Scope
Scope
of
tu
the
hanya,
study.
okay, nanti saya tunjuk. Okay? Alright, let's go to chapter 1. Okay, ini dah lebih. Alright. So this is how you write your FYP. Okay, this actually this student is my master student, alright? So I don't expect you to write as good as this level, but you need to try your level best in order to write a very good introduction chapter, which is chapter 1. Okay, so this one is background of the study. Okay, so it depends. Some people write it, usually like 1, 2, 3 pages, for the background. And this is your problem statement. Okay, again, problem statement. For time being, I only ask only 1 paragraph from you all. Actually, problem statement can be long, right? Okay, so in this case, this student didn't do research aim separately. So, but dia tulis in this paragraph, okay? So where? So here it says, the management have to increase. This also help the employers. So the purpose, this study will help the employers in finding a suitable employee among the management. So that's what he wants to do. So this study assists graduates to identify their multiple intelligence and the capability to acquire the blah, blah, blah. So actually this part right here, okay, is the aim of the study. Ada faham kah?
Faham.
Oh, okay, bagus. Ramai sikit yang jawab. Sebab sekurang-kurangnya saya tahulah dia tak tidur. Right, so next one, research question. So for example, let's have a look. Research question number 1. What is the multiple intelligence profile of graduates in U10, right? So ini the first one. So now we want to convert to research objective. Okay. So you can see what is the multiple intelligence profile. So research objective, you can write it to identify the multiple intelligence profile of graduates in U10. Right? So you start with a verb. Okay, next one. What is the level of intelligence the U10 graduates possess based on intelligence profile and demographic background? Itu dia punya question. So now dia punya objective to examine, to examine the multiple intelligence of management graduates based on their intelligence profile and demographic background. If you can see, actually the sentence almost similar, but it's just that we need to do in two different formats. Okay, scope of the thank you. Scope of the study can only write it in one paragraph. Enough. Okay, so you just tell the scope. Scope ni apa tau? What we exactly do. So dia kata the first one to identify the multiple intelligence, and then the next one dia guna siapa? So dia akan guna management graduates, okay? And then the study will be done in U10, Faculty of Technology Management. And this is the method yang dia akan guna two-step cluster analysis. Contohnya, right? So that's what you need to explain in your scope of study. Your purpose, who are they, who are your respondents, where you want to do it, what is the method. Okay, for a time being, all right, since we haven't done this one yet, kita tak belajar lagi method, you can stop until these three things. Purpose, who, where, all right? What, who, and where. That's it. Untuk assignment anda. Any question?
No, Doctor. Clear.
Very the clear, very the good. Okay. So, alright. That's it untuk yang ni. Kejap ya. Alright. So let me stop sharing this one. Let's go back.
Doctor,
Yes.
I have a question. In the assignment recently you posted for the 8th November assignment,
Yeah, for today.
like you said that we have to do the research conceptual framework.
Okay, yeah, that one is actually we already discussed it last week.
Okay. Doctor, actually,
Okay, I already shared with you the figure, right?
yes.
Okay.
Doctor, I wanted to know more on this because I don't have the book yet, so I couldn't study more on this. Can you explain a bit on this?
No, you have to read from the book. Okay? Or you can ask your friends or you can even Google because if I want to talk very detailed, we don't have enough time. All right, so that's the reason I really, really, really appreciate you people if you can get the book. Okay, so maybe so for example, if you need more information on certain items or certain things, you can ask your friends who have the book to maybe just take a snapshot and then share with you on that page. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. So let's. Did you see the slide? Nampak eh? What do you see
No,
on the
Doctor.
slide? Oh, tak. Okay, all right. Let me share it again. Okay, all right. Dah nampak? Okay, so now we need to talk about more about our foreign workers housing issues. Okay, as I said, I will every time every lecture, okay, our class lecture, I will make sure I give you some input so at least you have some idea how to complete your assignment. Right. So these foreign workers housing issues, okay, actually after what actually I would like you to have. Okay. So the first thing, strategic planning for 5 years. Okay. For those people who are doing the guidelines or policy, so maybe you can start, projecting your work for 5 years. For example, okay, this is the guideline that we are proposed from katakan atau this target and so on. Okay, this is what we got. So this is the guideline that we propose maybe can be implemented. Okay, for example. So you need to think about, 5 years time. So it can be, it can work for 5 years in the future. So because even, let me tell you something about even UTM. Okay, we have something that we call it as Envision 2025. So UTM also now started from 2021, 2022, and until 2025, we also have started our strategic planning. So I also want that to have in you. Okay, so whatever we do in our life, we need to project for the future. Okay. Then the next one, survey. Okay, we also need to do a survey. Yeah, survey on the employers and industry players. Okay, for those who are doing this one, they're related to the employers and industry. So you need to check what actually they need. Okay, from this issue. What is their expectations? Okay, for example, they need, for example, the government to give them some incentive in order for them to build the housing properly in on the what suitable land and so on. All right. And then we need also to check the readiness for the proposed facilities. For example, if they cannot afford building a proper housing for these foreign workers, so let's say if the government has an intention to build on a certain area, do they will they accept it? Okay, because what we can see usually these people, these workers, they prefer to live somewhere very close to the industry, to the place where they work. Okay, their workplace. So because they don't have any transportation, they don't have any transport and so on. So they usually walk to their workplace. So this one, if the government like build a housing somewhere quite far from their workplace, so are the employers, for example, willing to pay, for the transportation and other different costs. Okay, so for example, like paying for the rent and so on for that housing, the new housing area. Okay, so that one we also need to think about it, and also we need to do survey on the community just to make sure. And remember, whatever you are doing here, you need to identify the factors first, right? So, for example, what is actually cause the discomfort, the factors that cause discomfort among the locals, okay? And also, we may need also to do a survey on the foreign workers. We want to know their experience, the treatment from the employers, and so on. Does it affect in terms of this foreign workers housing issues impact? Yeah. So that one we also need to check. And then for those who are doing social issues, all right. So maybe you also need to put all these elements because this is some of the complaints that we receive from the locals. Okay, for example, illegal garbage dumping, buang sampah merata-rata, and then it affect in terms of the health of the society, for example, and then moral behavior, unhealthy activities. Okay, so they have like this one so many unhealthy activities that maybe you can find out from the, for example, from the society, what kind of unhealthy activities. Illegal, also this one wrong spelling. Okay, let me see. Okay, this one's supposed to be illegal. And then this one is noise, alright? Kenapa kah? Tiba-tiba je. Okay. Sebab dia banyak sangat I. Right? Illegal. Alright. So and then also this one we also need to consider about this about illegal racing on public roads. Saya rasa the foreign workers they only have bicycles. They don't have bikes. Okay. So I'm not really sure whether this one is a very very good social issue or not. Okay. So yes, selalunya this illegal racing happen among the locals, all the teenagers. Okay. And then noise, annoyance, and then privacy invasion, sleep disturbing because of the noise. And then sometimes they play music too loud, until that cause the neighbors are very hard to sleep, have a very good sleep, for example. And then also the locals even complain about the buses, okay, when for these people to pick them up and then to drop them at the housing places. So it also the sound of the bus also the locals don't like it, right? So for example, and then they park their vehicles park illegally on streets or private property. They just park their bicycle, their bike or whatever, just wherever they like. Okay, and then also alcohol consumptions. Okay, and then also the most common is quarrels, fight. Okay, so I was told that these quarrels or fight is actually due to this alcohol consumption and also women. All right, so that's the things that you maybe need to think about it. All right, so as I said, our job is actually to refine our title, our topic, and also our problem statement. Okay, ada soalan ke? Any question? Anyone? Okay, mari kita panggil-panggil orang untuk kita tanya apakah khabar mereka. Boon Chan, Mr. Boon. How are you? I really miss you.
I miss you too, doctor.
Okay, where are you now?
JB.
Oh, you JB. Okay lah, alright JB. Okay, for JB people nanti, if we, for example, if we need to meet somewhere, okay, after PKP for sure, nanti we can meet up, alright, somewhere to discuss on this assignment. Right, so JB will be easy lah for me to get in touch. But those people yang far away ni. Okay, then okay tak, Mr. Boon? Do you understand? Do you know how to do your
So far, I understand yet.
Okay, assignment boleh tak? Dah boleh buat?
Okay, boleh.
Boleh, alright. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Next, Fatin. Fatin? Oh, kita ada banyak Fatin Okay. Fatin? Fatin mana ada? Kan semua tak ada? So quiet. Fatin Nabiha?
Yes, Doctor.
Uju boy. How are you, Fatin?
Okay, I'm
Dah
fine.
makan ke?
Belum.
Belum, Allah. Patutlah sing. Okay, Fatin. Faham tak kelas so far?
So far okay lah.
Okay lah. Okay, kita akan tengok nanti masa ujian. Okay lah ke tak okay? Alright. Okay, so assignment macam mana? Boleh buat tak?
Apa dia, Doktor?
Assignment.
Oh, okay. Boleh.
Okay, alright. Okay, let's ask people far away from us. Okay, Rafi. Mana Rafi?
Halo dokter.
Oh, Rafi, I'm so happy to hear your voice. Okay, so macam mana? Okay, faham tak? Can you understand? Okay. And then how is it going, your assignment? Dengan kawan-kawan, dengan teman-teman, okay?
So far so good dokter.
Okay, alright. I'm happy to hear that. Hopefully betul lah yang you cakap. So I trust what you said, okay? Alright, thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you dokter.
You're welcome. Okay, last one, Malini. Where are you, Malini?
Yes, Doctor.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay ke belajar kat rumah? Alright.
Okay je.
Okay je? Ke banyak gangguan?
Tak ada sangat. Okay je.
Okay, all right. Okay, people. So on Thursday, we are going to meet on Thursday, all right? So the first hour. So I'm going to talk on chapter 5, okay? We already finished chapter chapter 4. So we need to proceed to chapter 5, and then we're going to do continue with our presentation from the 4 groups. Okay, and then we're going to discuss again on this class assignment, because later, okay, after this week, most probably end of next week, you need to submit your assignment, where you need to compile from the beginning, okay? You need to compile from, and then also don't forget that you need to do that SWOT analysis also. Okay, so the SWOT analysis from your problem statement until your conceptual framework, the one that I share with you. Okay, actually you already learned in chapter 3. Okay, so the whole thing you need to compile them, and then you need to print it out nicely, and then you need to bind it nicely. You need to submit through your e-learning and also hard copy. So for those people who are in JB, okay, so if you want to submit by hand, you can do it by hand, all right? So you can always, meet me somewhere, or you can go to my home, all right? Or for those who are far away from JB, you can always post it to me, all right? So you need to submit through hard copy and also soft copy. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, okay. Oh, okay. Let's go to your your attendance. Ya.
Kita hari ni tak present ke?
Apa dia?
Tak ada present ke?
Kita buat Khamis ya? Boleh?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh, I see. You see, I also see. Okay. Alright. Kejap. Okay, this time we go for section 1 dahulu. Okay. Jadi section 1 dulu.
Saya nak tanya.
Tanya.
Yang conceptual framework tu sebenarnya
Yang okay. Kenapa tak yang gambar flowchart tu, ingat tak yang kita buat hari tu? Macam ni, kan kita ada satu idea yang besar, lepas tu you kena break down dia punya element. Itulah, itu dia.
yang
Macam mana Syaf? Syaf kalau susah sangat Syaf. Syaf belanja saya dekat kedai Wak Radul ke apa, saya boleh explain. Belanja saya sate ke, belanja saya kopi ke, okey lah.
InsyaAllah.
Okay, Syaf, okay, apa nak tanya tadi? Balik semula. Dah okey?
Itu yang macam flowchart yang
Yang
saya.
flowchart lah.
Contohnya
Itulah
buat
konsep
macam yang
framework.
ni some scientific approach scientific research ni
Ya.
Apa
Yang
yang
chapter 3. Okay, yang chapter 3, mari kita tengok muka surat berapa. Kita ya. Okay, muka surat 24. On page 24. Okay, so that's the conceptual framework. Okay? Okay. Hanya ya kelakar. This is a good one, eh? Siapa ni yang nak angkat jemuran? Amira ke Christopher?
Saya doktor.
Ni macam cerita P.Ramlee ni. Apa pendekar bujang labuk. Okay, quick, session 1. Okay, I need to deactivate you all. So, kalau siapa yang lambat tu, you just masuk dekat section 2 nanti. Okay, siapa yang dah habis, after you scan the attendance, you can leave the class. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Kenapa tak keluar pula ni? Why? Session tu nampak ke?
Dah doktor. Thank you doktor.
You're welcome, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay,
Thank you, Doctor.
welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you doktor.
Welcome. Bye, Cindo.
Doktor.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Halo dokter.
Okay, bye-bye.
Halo dokter, ini Raffi dokter.
Oh, Raffi, ya? Kenapa Raffi?
Saya nak tanya dokter, pasal ini grup kita nak ganti job opportunity ke perception expectation, boleh kah dokter?
Ini yang untuk social
Ya, sosial.
Maksudnya nak buat macam mana tu?
Dulu sebelum ini kan topik kita tu job opportunity dokter.
Aha, yes.
Kita nak ubah jadi perception and expectation.
Yelah, macam mana you nak buat perception siapa?
Perception and expectation the experience worker dokter. Jadi sebelum dia kerja ke Malaysia sama expectation dia setelah kerja ke Malaysia dokter.
Oh, jadi expectation sebelum dia pergi ke Malaysia?
Sebelum sama sesudah. Perception and expectation dia.
Okay, boleh?
Boleh dokter.
Okay.
Thank you dokter.
Okay, welcome.
Doktor,
Ya?
saya nak tanya.
Aha.
Yang tadi muka surat 24 tu kan, buku second edition dengan first edition sama kan?
Dia lebih kurang ya, Syah. Sama je.
Okay.
Okay.
Terima kasih doktor.
Sama. Kalau tak jumpa, beritahu saya, Syaf.
Okay.